What's up, everyone? Today I want to talk about the action movie genre and how I feel that we're finally, in the past 20 years, we are we are hitting peak action movies. Now in the 80s, we had, Rambo and Chuck Norris, uh, and Charles Bronson with Death Wish and Rambo and Missing in Action. But just recently, they are the action movie genre has been some of the most diverse heroes. You have The Rock, you have Vin Diesel, the Fast and Furious movies, you have John Wick, some of the most technical action movies out there. Fast and Furious with the cars, the fast cars. The problem with some of the 80s action movies is the problem with some of the 80s action movies is they have this Vietnam feeling, meddled with the Cold War with Russia. I'll go ahead and say it. They're kind of propaganda movies. They're kind of propaganda movies where you had Ronald Reagan, um, you know, get out there, join the army, kill the enemy. Uh, these newer action movies are more about common threats, um, getting back at gangs and corruption and gang corruption. You got Jason Statham, who's very athletic. Uh, so yeah, like the action movies we have these days are a lot more diverse. I think the Fast and Furious has broke all kinds of records in the box office, and they're still making them. And like the '80s ones with the Vietnam propaganda, and you go before that, you have westerns with they were just kind of like, like Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. They were very like micro racist with some of the Native Americans and stuff like that. So that's another sore sight when you think about that. Also, we have Denzel Washington in the Equalizer movies, and he's been making those. You have like a black action hero, and there's nothing like oh, he's a black action hero. He's just an action hero who happens to be black. There's nothing, no like no one makes anything of it, and that's a huge feat because we've seen um, like Carl Weathers as Action Jackson in the '70s. But that's another you know political PC talk is in the '70s when we have all these blaxploitation movies where it was like, all right, here you go, Shaft, Dolomite, and all of those guys. I love those movies. Don't get me wrong; they're hilarious and they're badass. But there's something, they kind of rub, they're real racy and a little racist at times, and they were just kind of placating to the social message, and it wasn't anything more than that. Superfly and stuff like that. And now, with The Rock and Vin Diesel, it's not exploitation. It's just they are action heroes, and they are doing these roles. And there's nothing more. They were casted for their personality and they're built. They're strong characters, and I think action movies these days are a lot more diverse than the ones in the '80s and the '70s, and it got a little bit better in the 90s, and we're seeing action movies coming around from India, RRR and Monkey Man, and all those Bollywood action movies are doing really well. And um, you know, Thailand with Ombak, and China with the legacy of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and Jet Li, and it's come full swing. And I think the action genre is stronger than it's ever been.